Hi, this is Lisa Williams, and this is my presentation on reliability and validity. And I do have to apologize for my voice. I'm recovering from being very sick over the last week, so I apologize if I sound nasally. Okay, so let's get started. So the objective of this presentation is to define reliability and validity, to explain the relationship between both of these concepts, to explain or examine the types of validity, and to discuss why validity is a unitary concept. Okay, so what is reliability? Reliability is the extent to which measurements are repeatable when different persons perform the measurements on different occasions under different circumstances or conditions with supposedly alternative instruments that measure essentially the same thing. In sum, reliability is consistency of measurement or stability of measurement over a variety of different conditions in which basically the same results should be achieved. So to piggyback off that, let's talk about validity. Validity refers to the extent to which a test measures what it intends to measure. So I've included an example here. Let's say there's an assessment given to determine where an individual falls on the autism spectrum. So the test doesn't actually measure the autistic tendencies, but it measures schizoaffective tendencies. This would not be a valid assessment because the assessment does not measure what it purported to measure, which in this case would have been the assessment of the autism spectrum. So because both reliability and validity are vital to the consistency and authenticity of a measure, the two are very much related and intertwined. So I added this graphic of 3 different targets to display a visual sense of reliability and validity. So if we look at the first target, you see kind of towards the top right of the target, there's a cluster where all of the points are. They're all in the very generalized specific location, but they are away from the bullseye. And here in this case, the bullseye would determine validity because that would tell us, again, that what's being measured is actually what's supposed to be being measured. So target 1, this is going to tell us that the measure is reliable because there's a cluster of points together, but it's not valid because the cluster is not in the bullseye section. So if we move on to the middle target, target number 2, there's points all over the target. There's nothing representative of a collective group of points in a specific location or together in the bullseye. So this would tell us that it is neither reliable or valid. So if we go to the last target, target number 3, A, we have all of the points together, a collective group of points, and B, they're in the bullseye. So this would tell us that this particular assessment is valid and reliable. It's both. Okay, so moving on to the types of validity, we've got statistical conclusion, we've got internal construct, and external validity. So the statistical conclusion validity is it's a measure of how reasonable a research or experimental conclusion is. It can indicate the reliability of said conclusion, and it begs the question, does a relationship exist between the two variables? Next, we have internal validity, and that refers to how many confounding variables are in a particular study. It determines if the study is sound and valid, And what I found is the lesser the confounding variables, that's representative of high internal validity, as opposed to more confounding variables, which would demonstrate low internal validity. And then we have construct validity, and that refers to how well a concept, idea, or behavior has been translated or transformed into a functioning reality. And this one begs the question, what are the cause and effect behaviors involved in this relationship? And then finally, we have external validity, which refers to the likelihood that the achieved result from a sample group being applied to larger populations across various settings and times. So basically it asks how generalizable is this relationship across person settings and times, again, to a much larger population. And then my last slide, why is validity a unitary concept? Well, validity is a unitary concept because under the construct validity, evidence from multiple subcategories, excuse me, I'm so sorry, evidence from multiple subcategories must be obtained to determine validity. And these would include predictive, criterion-related validity, concurrent validity, convergent validity, and discriminant validity. So thank you so much for watching and listening to my presentation. And that is all I have today. Thank you so much. Oops. Oh.